We're learning more about that fire at Y-12 National Security Complex last month. Building 9212 is where it happened. It was built in the 1940s, and that's where uranium is processed. No one was hurt in that February 22nd incident. We wanted to understand, though, when something like this happens, what goes on inside Y-12 to keep both employees and the public safe.
Specifically for consolidated nuclear security.
It was just before 10 a.m. when Stephen Wyatt got the call.
Media work out of this area.
By the time he got here to a conference room at a building just outside the gates of the Y-12 National Security Complex, reporters had already begun showing up, eager for details.
There's so much out there on social media. If we're able to get facts out quickly, this helps the public understand what's going on.
Wyatt is the spokesperson for the National Nuclear Security Administration.
It's a very exciting, very fast-paced event to deal with events like this.
It's his job to make sure the public gets the right info to stay safe.
We were processing uranium chips, and it basically had a uranium fire. Actually, it's called a rapid exothermic oxidation.
On a day like February 22nd, when that fire occurred, he says the communications team will send out updates directly to news organizations and via social media accounts. Fast and accurate, that's the goal.
Since we have a national security mission, we have to be very careful with the information that we do share. So it's a very careful, very well thought out process.
A few hundred employees were evacuated that day from several surrounding buildings, but he says the public was never in danger.
Actions that are taken immediately to determine the level of the emergency, what needs to take place. And in this case, since it was contained within a building, there was no need for warning sirens or the outside public to take any actions.
In the case of an emergency that may impact the community, the media briefing area would be at the Joint Information Center, more than 5 miles off-site.
The JIC is where you bring state and local government agencies.
Employees, he says, are prepared for this. There's a known level of risk when dealing with a flammable substance like uranium.
This is a known hazard, and we have procedures and protocols to address this. But in this case, what we did, the extinguishing agents, wasn't really helping the condition. I mean, it wasn't out of control. It was contained within a small hood in a production area. But because the temperature was not going down, we decided as a precaution to evacuate the facility.
Uranium is used in nuclear weapons and powers submarines and aircraft carriers in the U.S. Navy.
We deal with hazardous materials as part of our national security mission, and for that reason, we train extensively to make sure we're always ready to respond.
Air monitors never went off that day, meaning no radioactivity. It was the evening before the fire finally stopped burning. Officials are still investigating that incident. They say they will revisit their protocol and make any changes needed. Meantime, a new uranium processing facility is under construction nearby. Once it's up and running, work will be phased out of Building 9212. The Y-12 website lists one of the main goals of that new facility as improving worker safety. It is also expected to bring down costs and energy consumption.